So you have a chat up so that you can just leave me a note. All right. So we begin. We begin with sitting, and let's see, what do we want to do? Either you could be sitting on your bolster or simply sitting the way you are. And I'm just going to start. I know I might get a little cool, so I have my sweater on. And then hands are to heart center. Closing the eyes, very upright with the spine. I want you to be warm. I want you to be cozy. And then we'll reach the arms up. Inhale. And exhale, arms out to the sides and down. And again, we're going to take hands right to the heart. And inhale, reach up. And exhale, arms are down. Third one, last one, hands are to heart. Inhale. And exhale. Good. And then this bolster is going to go under my knees. So I'm going to be sitting, and I might as well shift how I sit. My knees are going to come over it. And my knees are not together. They're wide, and it would kind of look more like that. My feet are not touching, but sort of apart, okay? Oh, a block. You might need a block handy, okay? And as we're here, so I'm coming forward. And some are fine I bring my arms over each other and my forehead rests on my top arm, or having a block. And you could rest your hands on the block and then your forehead resting on your hands, which are much softer than the block. So it is a forward bend. It kind of feels like it goes against how we would like to work. I mean, we feel like gravity pulls us forward, but it's okay. We will be working with arching as well. So breathing in and exhale. Breathe into the back of your body. I will talk and guide you through each pose. First thing is, start to lengthen your breath, like slow it down. Slow it down. Feel the part of your forehead that touches your hand or the block. In this documentary, Heal, they talk about, we purify our bodies every day. We take a shower or a bath. We clean ourselves. We clean our physical bodies. Well, when we come to a meditative state of mind, as we are doing this hour and a half, we cleanse the mind. We purify the mind. We purify consciousness. We de-stress. Let's say we're going to be here about another minute or so. So I want you to, maybe you feel like you can come up, you can come forward again, just kind of, maybe you can bring your hands towards your feet or to your feet and resting your head down and continue. Breathing into your spine, into your back. Expanding into the back of your lungs and the back of your kidneys. then we'll start to press up. And once you press up, you straighten your back. You'll bring your hands behind you, fingertips point back, and you're going to arch back. So you're just kind of walking your hands back and look upward and chin down. And look past one shoulder, look at your hands back there, move them around, and look at the peripheral vision, see your hands, and look the other way. And release. And then from here, we have more of a back arch, but we can modify as necessary. So basically, if you're using your bolster, you can make an incline. So I make an incline by bringing a block underneath. And the other, if this feels really intense, is you can also build it up where you're going to sit. So some don't need it. Some can just sit right on the mat. You don't need the block. But if you do, you prop yourself up. You could even be sitting on a block, so it's less of an arch for you, okay? And wherever you're at, you sidle right up against the bolster. You come over. And either your knees stay bent, you can extend your legs, you could bring them in bound angle. I'm going to save that for a little later. So I am going wide with my feet. The legs are so relaxed, they roll out, and the hands are at your sides, palms are facing up. Now, if you're very, very open, you might also take your arms up overhead, holding the back of the bolster, the back end, or taking hands to elbows. Just kind of depends on your level of comfort. And that's really key. Can you be comfortable? Can you be very, very comfortable? And you're going to close the eyes and bring your focus to the front of your body, especially diaphragmatic area. We say that arches or anywhere where any pose where you're really opening up the area of, we'll say, the viscera, and you can, you experience a pose of courage. So because it kind of takes courage to expose your vulnerability. You know, we can say the heart is encased in a rib cage, the brain encased in the skull, but your intestines, your stomach. Viscera is a nice word for guts, right? So anyway, so your viscera is very exposed, right? And there's not a rib cage covering it. So you have to be in a place of comfort and trust, a place of courage to truly let go in poses like this. That's what we say in yoga. So think about the front chest, front lungs, diaphragm, stomach, intestines. Very relaxed right now. There's space. You're cultivating space. I'm going to be here about another minute. So as you're here, again, just if you ever feel like you need a little something under your knees or just relaxing, a little shifting around, that's fine. For example, for me, I'm going to take out that incline because I feel like I've relaxed enough that I can remove it. And I'm going to remove the blanket underneath me so I can just go into this a little more deeply. And breathe. You know that if your back does not like arches, you could always be up on this bolster, so you don't have to have that drop off. That's an easier way to be here, knees bent. we're going to start to release the arms, and we're coming out of this pose. So to come out safely, you roll to one side, and you take your top hand, and you help to press yourself up. Okay. So usually, like there's a forward bend, there's an arch. Now it's child's pose. So we're going to take the bolster at the front end of your mat, and your arms will drape over the bolster. So if you want, we go for comfort, we go for props. You could have a blanket under your knees, and maybe your knees will be maybe not quite as wide as your mat, and then your arms drape over the bolster, and you lower your head. So the idea is to really stretch into your low back. Your knees can be close together or just slightly apart. I have mine fairly wide, not quite to frog. And you might, I hope you feel the weight of your forehead onto the mat. Warm. Now, one thing we can do, you could leave the bolster, or you could take the bolster with you over to the right and reach your arms up over it and lower your head. So it's more of a side stretch. And then we could take the bolster across the other way and extending the arms over the bolster and lower your head and breathe. That should feel like a nice side stretch, and you're directing your breathing into the rib cage of the stretched side. And then we'll come back to center. All right. So one more along this vein. So we'll just, let's go ahead and just come into cat-cow for just a little bit of movement here. Get around into your back. And inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch, back and forth. And just taking one leg and extending so you get a nice stretch to the calf muscle. And then release and do the other side, and just pressing back, heel, pressing back, and breathe. Great. And then we're going to go wide, and this is frog. So I know, not everyone can come down on this. Some have the pelvis way up high. Sometimes it helps to just have a block. Again, it's like, you could make an incline, so it's easier to reach. Some need lots of blocks, so you can really make a high incline. It really just depends on you. Like, how do you need to be on this? Your knees are wide. It's frog. You're giving yourself as much support as you like, because this is held. And what we don't want is to have to fidget, to feel uncomfortable. So that's one way. And again, I like that, but I do enjoy going a little deeper, and I can. So, and even if some just don't want to bolster, some are just like, oh, I just want to come into this. So I leave that to you. But I like that bolster right up against my belly and coming into it. So what I'm going to say is if your head is to one side, I'll remind you when it's time to turn your head. Direct your breathing into your lumbar, your sacrum, your spine. A lot happens when we reach this place of deep relaxation, of clearing the mind. You know, I say mindfulness. And Deepak Chopra, he's in the documentary, and he says he does not like the word mindfulness. He said it's a misnomer because you're trying to, I don't know, you're moving away from the busy mind. But anyway, so mindfulness is the word I use, and I personally like it. Being present, meditating, stilling the mind, entering a world of quiet. Let's take the head, turn the head the other way so that your neck stretches this way too. When we relax, cortisol, the stress hormone cortisol levels decrease significantly, if not go away altogether. It's been measured in laboratories where they have, and these hormones are secreted directly into the bloodstream, so it's very easy to measure by taking blood samples. And before meditation, cortisol levels are up. And our yoga is meditation in motion, and we have restorative yoga. We are clearing the mind, and cortisol levels drop. Pituitary gland starts secreting other relaxing hormones that are beneficial to fighting disease, to keeping us healthy, and I will talk about those as well. So we're going to take the hands alongside chest and push down into the mat. It's the best way to come up. And then you take one knee in, you take the other knee in, and we're going to move that out of the way. So we're coming to the wall, and at least we're going to do a few movements at the wall. So remember, I talked about clearing a space at the wall. So let's start out with legs up the wall. So what we'll want is our mat to the wall, a blanket or something underneath, and this is what I'm doing. I'm going to show you the best way to do this. So I'm shifting a little bit here. I think that'll work. Because some people want to put the bolster in first and then come against the wall, and it doesn't work so well. So I'm going to show a kind of a good way to do this. So you know that it could be that when you take your legs up the wall, maybe you have a blanket under your sacrum, maybe you have a block under your sacrum, or maybe you have a bolster. It's great, but it's really hard to come to the wall when these props are in place. So what I say is, and have your strap nearby. Just have your strap nearby, because we're going to bind our legs as well. What I say is, sidle up to the wall, no props in place. They're nearby. And then swing your legs up. Usually it works. You're right there. Now, what are you going to do? Is it going to be your block? Oh, the block. This is so nice. But you have to put it in once you're up. So you lift. You take whatever it is, your bolster, your block, and I guarantee you, once whatever it is under you, you're not at the wall anymore. So you start out as close as you can to the wall. Once you bring something under your pelvis, you won't be against the wall anymore, most likely. Now, strap is nearby, And we're going to make a little loop for your mid-lower leg. So I bring the strap in place, and I'm going to cinch it up. So I don't have to work at keeping my legs together. It's unbelievable how comfortable that is. So my legs are together. The strap is it's not too tight. That's going to make me miserable. Arms could be at T position, 45-degree angle. Arms could be I surrender, diamond, or hands to elbows. See what works for you. I kind of like the diamond one. And breathe. So the body, when the mind is purified or clear, calm, serene, when you're working on slowing down your breathing, when you're clearing your mind, the body produces relaxin. So allow the hormone relaxin to flow through your bloodstream. Often when we're tense, that adds to stiffness of the body. So relaxin, of course, the word relax is right there, and your body becomes more limber. In this time of meditation and restorative yoga, your body, my body produces endorphins that are very soothing and relaxing and great for our overall well-being. The body produces serotonin and dopamine. So there are 4 right there, 4 hormones that move through the system that help us to enjoy well-being, that help us to relax, regulate blood pressure, heart rate. This is great for the lymph system. It's good for the immune system. You feel how your lymph is moving back gently towards your heart. We're going to probably be here for about 3 more minutes. Allow your back to completely relax. Feel the parts of your body that are heavily to the floor, like the back of your head, the shoulder blades, the sacrum. Some of you will stay as you are, but if you have enough space to go wide as a V, the last minute you'll go there. So I'm going to remove the bolster. I'm going to remove my strap. And I'm in a bad spot to go wide, so I'm going to move over a little bit because I'm at the edge of the wall here. Okay, that should work. And if you're going wide as a V, you probably already have. Okay, so lost that. Well, that's okay. It'll work. And good. And then as you're here pushing out through the heels, hands are onto the belly if you're going out to the V. Good, just a few more moments here. You can also go wide or be a star. And then we're going to take the hands to the outside legs if you went wide and release. Now, if you're still legs up the wall, remove your strap, remove whatever's underneath you. So you want your back flat onto the mat. And what I'm going to say is this one where I stretch my outer hip. So the left knee bends and the right leg is over, right ankle flex. Now, if you're very tight and your hips are coming up, I think it's worthwhile to move away from the wall, be at a 90-degree bend at the wall, and it's better, right? You're going to be a little more comfortable here. So close to the wall if your hips are open, and further away if not. I'm going to turn my heat on. We're still on the same side. And that can be very intense. The more you bend your left knee, the deeper the stretch to the outside hip. There's also something called IgA, immunoglobulin A, or otherwise known as IgA, that your body produces when you meditate, when we clear the mind. And yoga is meditation in motion. Certainly restorative yoga is meditation in slow motion. Let's go the other way, reverse. And this IgA is like an antiviral, a natural antiviral, and a natural anti-cancer. It's unbelievable. So we are injecting these wonderful hormones into the bloodstream, gaining optimal health, breathing in, exhale. So we are on side 2. Hopefully you didn't miss that cue. And we're going to release just one more time, legs up the wall, pushing the heels up, and then pointing, and again, flexing. We'll bend the knees, roll to one side. Good. And then top hand helps to press you up. Good work. So we're going to sit, and you need a block here. And we've done this before at SAC in class. So basically, you have your block. There's your block between you and the wall. Okay, so you know how let's say there's the wall. I want it at the lowest height. So let's say that my left hand is the wall. I don't want it like that. I don't want it like that. It's really flat. You don't need a whole lot. And where is it? Well, it's not at my neck, and it's not at my lumbar. It should be between shoulder blades. more or less, okay? So I can have another chance to explain it. So I put it on my back. I sometimes see people like this, and they're like all slumped. No, that doesn't work. You want to bring yourself back, of course. I'm not all the way up to the wall, but I want to be upright. I have the block in place, okay? And here I am, sitting cross-legged. This just helps me with my posture. And you think, is this restorative yoga? I think so. So we'll go back to bolster. We'll go back to the strap in a moment. And I just want you to be here. So it corrects what I'm doing. Looking at the phone, looking down, it corrects my posture. It helps me to open up the front carriage so I can breathe. Shoulders are open. Index finger to thumb. And breathe. So one other way, just so you know, that you can do this, you can try this with someone. I think I saw Sadie. Sadie, you could try this with Angus. You could sit back to back with the block between you, even if the two people are different heights. Just don't have it poking into your neck or in your low back. And you link arms. You link arms and you're upright, and it's a great stretch. And you could pull a little more, and then that person can pull you, and then you re-link arms. Because you can link different ways, right? And it makes a difference. So you link this way, pull, and then you relink. So I know you can't wait to try that. And close the eyes. Let's take a few more rounds of breath here. This is wonderful for posture. It helps us to strengthen the back muscles. And more than anything right now, restorative, this is restoring your capacity to breathe fully. Slow down your breathing, cleanse the mind, just as we would cleanse our body on a daily basis via a shower or a bath. You cleanse your mind on a daily basis via your yoga practice, your meditation, a long solitary walk where you slow your breath down and look around you, clearing the mind. It's the best thing you can do for your health, for your well-being. The walk doesn't have to be solitary, but whatever it takes for you to be still in your mind. We're going to release, and that was very nice. Next up, we are still going to use the wall for this one. You need a really large strap and a large loop. And if you don't have it, I'll show another way that you can do this. So I want a really long, the longer your legs, the longer. We're going to make, you know how you have no hands devices when you're driving, when you're using your phone, no hands device? Well, we're going to do a no hands device for the leg stretch. So it's a pretty big loop. It should be tight. I'm going to put this, and the loop has, I call it a tail, and the tail should face down towards you because you need to adjust when you're on your back. All right, so I'm going to put this on me like I'm putting on a sweater, and it's going to go around my mid rib cage. And then I'm going to have my knees slightly bent, okay? And I'm going to bring my right foot up. So for me, it's way too big, it's loose. So I've got the tail facing me, and I'm going to tighten it. I'm cinching it up. Okay, good. That's it. It's around my mid-rib cage, cinching it up. Now, my left leg, I can push, straighten it, straighten my right leg. And if you still need to cinch, bend your knee a little bit, cinch. You want this to be a good leg stretch, but it's restorative, so my hands don't have to do anything. I can close the eyes and breathe. Oh, and by the way, if your strap isn't long enough, it won't be a hands-free device, right? So you could just hold. You could hold. There is another trick. I don't know what situation you have at home, but there is a trick where you're at the corner of a wall, one leg up and one leg extended. not everybody has that nearby, right? So here I go again, setting it up. Still on the same leg. Something about not having to hold the strap really allows us to relax in this pose. So as we go through these restorative yoga poses, I do want to talk about the mindset. People think this is passive yoga, but it's not. There's no such thing as passive yoga. You have either you're active or you are receptive. And receptivity is another action. So this is being receptive. Receptive to gravity's pull, receptive to the moment, receptive to the teachings of yoga, receptive to slowing down your breath, receptive to the idea of healing your body, your mind, your emotions, your spirit. I do believe that there is a collective grief going on. I think it's, it's not just my sister Tony dealing with the damage and fighting for her life because she can't breathe on her own, yet. I don't know if she will be. I have faith she will, but everything's uncertain. It's not just that, Tona explained, she's got, we're all, so many of us have family members or friends who are struggling, suffering in some way, COVID or other illness, other factors. And we're in the midst of this, another surge, this pandemic, and I believe there is as I said before, a collective grief. And that might be the healing that takes place when we do our meditation, working with this collective grief. It's hard to be human and not to be affected by others because of entanglement, we are one, we are affected by the other. Let's release. Oh, that was a long hold. And your legs will never be the same again. So again, when you come into it, the foot on the wall, the knee is bent. And then you start to extend, whoo, and we have to hold this one about 1.5 minutes and breathe. Slow down your breathing, clearing the mind. Notice if you have an internal dialogue going on, and if so, sometimes we don't realize that it's like, oh, there I go again. And rather than be hard on yourself for it, just simply turn down the volume like imagine you have a dial, you turn down the volume, and you bring your focus back to your breathing, your steady, slow breathing. We are going to come out. That's a good long hold, and then release. Now both feet are on the wall. You're going to push the feet into the wall, interlace fingers, press palms up overhead. Okay. So we have bridge coming up, the floating bridge. So we have blocks, and here's kind of how I would do it. Just make sure you have space, of course. You don't want to be barred by the wall, okay? And then most will take one block under the sacrum, and oftentimes it's on its low end. You extend, arms are up overhead, and you are the floating bridge, okay? I just want to say, I know that some people have, like sometimes when I'm in this for a long time, I almost feel like my knees hyperextend. So, and I would say some can double the blocks. I mean, I don't know if you want to double the blocks. That might just be too extreme. I'm not going to do it because I want to hold this for a little while. But what I'm going to say is the bolster under your knees might be the way to go if you feel like you like this pose, but sometimes you feel like you're hyperextending your knees. So I have the block under my sacrum, you can see it, and then the bolster right under my knees. Trying to get just right, there we go. And then my legs relaxing. So that way, it's really nice. So I am a floating bridge, and maybe the bolster takes away from your experience. I don't know. See what works for you. And breathe. And what we say about floating bridge in yoga is that Setu Bandhasana, any form of bridge is called Setu Bandhasana. Setu is the pose that bridges Maya, which is illusion, over to Sat, which is truth. You're moving away from illusion and moving towards truth. It's like maybe it's a life of investigation, a life of exploring, a life of asking questions, a life of learning and going, exploring, and the yoga practice itself helps us to move towards Sat, truth. We're going to come out. So you bend the knees, you could roll the bolster out of the way if it was there, lift, remove the block, and then pull knees right into chest. Just draw in, and you could stretch your back, you could rock side to side. We have a side bend movement. So for this side bend movement, here's what I like to do. So I have the bolster. I probably, let's see, how close do I need to be to the wall here? I should be okay. I should be able to extend one leg. And I have a bolster to rest, I have a block to rest my head on. So you can see there's a space between the block and the bolster. And what I'm going to do, the space is for my arm to rest. Okay, so then I rest, and then my head can be on the block. The lower knee is bent. It's pretty close to the bolster. The top leg is going to extend back. Top arm, maybe it's just reaching for the block, or you could extend the arm. For some, this is a terrific side stretch. And then others feel like they have to go a little further, so you look up, you can move the block more and look up at the ceiling. You know, and some do this without a block. It's like your head just comes down and it's more advanced, right? Because now you're going to be more in this side bend arch. So I want you to explore. See what works for you. And breathe into your side ribs. Let's start to come out. Just retract your arm. And it's instead of pushing into the bolster, push down and press up. Okay. And then we'll go the other direction. So, I had part 2 of the shingle shot on Thursday. And I got this big angry welt. The only time, and I'm actually doing really well with the first part 1 of the shingle shot. I was sick for over 24 hours. I was in bed and achy. And this time, not. It's just the arm is like welted up and it's a little sore like that per the previous pose. It was very hard to have the meditative mind, but I'm okay. I just thought I'd mention it in case you see the big welt on my arm. Go, what is going on with Fran? Okay, lower knee is bent, top leg moving. I'm glad the shingle vaccine is over for me and got it done. And as you're here, so you're side bending, but remember what you could do is roll, looking up, then you get a different kind of opening. You might also see, you might say, oh, I don't need the block under my head. I'm just going to see how this works for you. Gosh, I never thought to have you at the wall. It's very nice to have the wall to push into. I don't know if I could have done it with the other arm. I didn't even think about doing that for you. But here I am. You might want to shift over towards the wall if you want to try this. And breathe. My notes. Let's take just a few more rounds of breath here. And then retracting the arm. Again, rather than pushing, because it's kind of soft, I don't want you to hurt your wrist, you push down into the mat or the floor and pressing up. That's good. And then just take a moment and shake out your legs. Shake out your legs. Good work. Okay. So from here we have a twist. There's one twist. All right. And I'm just stayed at the wall just because I'm here. So the bolster is long ways. You can see it. And then what I'm going to do is I sidle up so my left hip is right up against it. My left hip is right up against it. And then I shift my legs. The legs are not overlapping, okay? And I'm going to turn a little bit. Now my hip's not touching the bolster anymore. I'm going to look at the wall, the back wall. I'm going to move from my navel. I'm turning, and I'm moving my head away from the bent knees. And that is the twist. So I'm twisting, and I'm looking over away from the knees. If that bothers some people say it bothers their neck. You're resting on one side. Maybe you can't turn your head. But if you can, go ahead and turn your head. I know you can hear me drinking. Sorry. Let's readjust. So your hands push into the mat on either side of the bolster. Lift, look ahead of you, get a long spine, and then really move from your navel. It's pretty amazing how you can actually twist more deeply when you readjust. You could hold the back edge of your bolster with your hands, and that helps you to twist. And then release and come on up. And then we have a second side. So again, just so I can still kind of face you, I will be here. All right, doesn't matter. So basically what I do is I sidle up to the side, my hip touching the side of the bolster. My knees fall in the direction of the bolster. They separate. And then I'm going to look at the bolster. So I'm moving from the navel and looking straight ahead. Taking a deep breath in, and then twist. Now really turn, and try to get more and more of your body up over the bolster. Turn your head away from your knees and rest your head. So I'm trying to prop my head up so that my ear mic still doesn't rub and make lots of sounds. Let's readjust. Press your hands into the mat. Lift. Really move from the navel, move from your ribs. Notice how you can go a little deeper and lower your head. Let's go ahead and come on up. Good work. And releasing and then stretching out your legs and shaking them out. So we have another twist, and I just happen to be by the wall, so I'll just stay there. So it's a twist, and my knee is going to come up on the bolster. So I'm going to lie on my back, and so if I've got my right knee up, and I'm going to really start out by pulling knee to chest. The bolster is on my left side. And then I'll place right foot on left knee, and I'm coming across. So I don't know how close it needs to be. I'm going to just rest my, I'm just resting. So another way you could do this is to be on your side and then taking the knee. It's just another way, and then you open out your spine. Do you see the difference? One is I start from flat on my back, I come across. The other is I start on my side, I just start out here, and then I go, oh, this is nice, and then extending. That's also very nice, actually. Okay. And then if I want you to be comfortable. So do you need a blanket or something supporting your extending arm? I don't know if you can see that. My arm is on a blanket. And breathing, because we're going to hold. Slowing down the breathing. It's very nice having something to rest your leg on. Let's take another minute here. Then we're going to start to come out. Now, once you come out, realign, and pull knees into chest, just really stretching your low back. And then let's do the second side. So I'll take this across, and now you can see how I did the arm, the optional about the arm. Okay, so left knee is, let's do it the one where you side bend. I mean, you're at your side, and your left knee is on the bolster, and then you come into the pose. It's a twist. My left knee on bolster. My left arm could be supported by a blanket or something that props it up a little. And my arms are just at a T position. And so wonderful. Make a little shifting. See how comfortable you can be. And breathe. So it's very nice. If you need to build it up more, you could put blocks under the bolster if you don't quite reach the bolster. let's say another minute here. We're going to come out, and again, as you come out slowly, unwind, and then pulling knees right into chest, stretching your lower back. Okay. So we have another arch, and I'll show kind of a different way if the arches don't work for you. So the one is that I'm rolling over this, and many just need a little extra something to rest the head on. And I'm going to be having my legs in bound angle. So what you could do is you could do this and not worry about the bolster. So I'm going to show, because let me see, I'll show without the bolster and with. Okay, first I'll show without, because some don't like the arching. That's understandable. So I take the strap. It's like I'm putting on a sweater. It doesn't have to be as big as the loop I made for my legs. I'm going to bring it in. There's the tail, and it pulls towards me. I bring my knees are wide. I'm going to bring this loop to my feet, and I'm going to tug. I'm going to bring the strap a little lower so it's really at my sacrum. It's going to be fairly low. And I could tug, 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 and then what happens is you could come to lying down, and you don't have to worry about arching so much. You can just be in bound angle, and there you are. But if you want to arch, you have your bolster in place. Of course, you could go, it's not so easy, huh? Okay, you could go long ways, but we did that earlier, so I wanted to go into a little deeper arch. I could have my block. I have my feet in place. I go over, and my head is supported by, and maybe you're fine. Maybe your head goes down, and you're fine. Like, I love the back bends. I'm just like, I don't need the block. But, many do. And it's fine. You have 3 heights to work with. See how this works. Your arms could be at your sides. Your arms could be at a T. Arms could be like a star, or arms could be up overhead. So I want you to, see what works for you, okay? And because we're going to be in this for a while, I'm just going to use the block. I'm going to bring it on its lowest height. I'm going to bring my arms into place. Oh, I have another block, so maybe I'll have that and have my arms rest on my block. So I just draped my arms over my block. And breathe. This is an amazing pose. Fish Matsyasana, fish pose. And by now, really having entered this time, the space, I could say, of mindfulness. We're going to be here about another minute. Hopefully you're comfortable enough. Breathe into the open spaces. Breathe into your heart, your lungs, diaphragmatic area. And to come out, first we would like to loosen this strap. So some can slip the feet out, sometimes so you have to kind of come out. But it's nice to loosen that before you roll over to one side and make your way up to sitting. Yeah. Wow, I know I'm relaxed. Okay, I hope you all are. So we're going to, so here's where we're going. We're heading towards the grand finale, okay? So we're actually going to be doing a neck stretch and then coming to the grand finale. So this is what I'm going to say. You want to set it up for your long Shavasana. Just set it up right now. And then, so you're going to have, at some point, we're not doing it quite yet. At some point, you're going to be lying on your backs. At some point, maybe you're going to want a blanket. Well, might as well set it all up because you know it's going to be, just have it nearby. Have it nearby. It's just going to be there. So when you lie down later, it's going to be easier for you to just grab your blanket and put it over you if you need it, okay? So we're going to come to standing and work our necks. And a lot of you know this. We've done this at Seattle Athletic Club with those beautiful Mexican blankets that they have. You may not have a Mexican blanket at home. I have one. They're made of cotton often. Doesn't matter. They could be wool. And if you don't have that, a big bath towel will work. So I'm going to give you time to grab what you need. This is what I'm talking about, the Mexican blankets. You work them wide ways instead of long. Okay, they're going to be wide. So, and basically, a lot of you know this, you're making a gigantic collar. You're standing, but I'm going to come to sitting so you can kind of, I'm kneeling so you can see. All right, so I'm holding. Some people try to fold it really nicely. I want it to be a messy collar. So you're holding, and you're going to start bunching up. Your hands are going to feel like they're too small for this bunching action. You're bunching, you're bunching, you're bunching. And the sides are even, but you see, like that's my collar. That's my collar. I'm holding it. It's messy. And then I'm going to put it over my neck. And again, it's kind of messy, but it's a nice collar, all right? And then once you're here, at least you're so good. I know you haven't done this one. Maybe you have. So you're going to tuck one end under your armpit and clamp down. And the other end under your armpit and clamp down. So it's kind of like you've been, you know how people get in accidents and they have to have a neck brace. So you just made a beautiful collar neck brace for yourself. I'm going to take this off so I can do this. And then you're making a circle. So it shouldn't be too tight, but it shouldn't be too loose. So that when you're making your circle, you really can move. You're standing, okay? I should be standing too. I just had to come closer to you. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, here we go. I had to go really far, so I'm still cutting off my head here. And circling. All in one direction. It should feel really nice. The only way it could feel nicer is if this blanket just came out of the dryer. Giving you ideas here. Or towel. Reverse the other way. So usually we're very cautious about making these circles because, we don't want to jam the neck. Well, with the collar, it's impossible to jam the neck. And you can really feel, it's like a massage to the neck, to the sides, to the even parts of the scalp as you shift. Oh, okay. So you're going to keep the collar on. Let me put my earbud back in, my ear thing is. It's called the Britney Spears mic. Did you know that? All right. And then when you come down to sitting, arrange it, maybe loosen a little bit, because this is going to be a little bit under your head as well. You're going to come down. You made a hood for yourself. Can you see that? I just made a hood for myself. And so I'm lying down, and it's, it's not just around my neck anymore. It's also at the back of my head. I loosen it up so I don't feel a little claustrophobic in this. And I'm going to crisscross it so it's right across my chest. And, it's like this little bit of pressure against my chest. And the hood covers your ears, but not so much that you can't hear me. Your knees are over. Oh, and that blanket is just nearby. So if you want to cover yourself, we set it all up. And there you are. And life is good. And you're just going to take a moment here to find your stillness. Find yourself cocooned in comfort, cocooned in safety, cocooned in love. As you lie in Shavasana, feel how you, through your process of relaxation, how you turned on the relax and renew response. The relax and renew response is that which heals, that which allows us to heal, whatever it is we need to recover from or heal from. Feel the purity of your mind, how you have purified your mind. Feel how you have purified your consciousness. Feel how you have released good hormones that come from meditating. Feel how you have quieted your mind and slowed down your breathing. Feel how you have reached a place of unshakable peace. Imagine you can feel relaxin coursing through your veins. And feel serotonin coursing through your veins. Feel how you have released oxytocin. Your body is relaxed. Your mind is still. Feel how you have released dopamine into your system. Your body is relaxed. Your mind is still. Feel how you have released IgA, immunoglobulin A, your primary defense against viruses. Just feel your body very still, your mind very still. Feel yourself connected to your heartbeat, to your breathing, to your home, to your environment, to your family, to your friends and your community, to society at large. I want you to, for a moment, imagine that you are looking at the most beautiful beach, ocean, setting you have ever laid eyes on. Evening is coming on, and the sun is setting, and the colors in the sky are breathtaking. I want you to see yourself in this image, watching, admiring, enjoying the sunset. It keeps changing just when you think it could not grow more beautiful. The colors on the horizon, in the sky, grow more potent, brighter, more colorful, more dynamic. In this scene, I want you either to stand watching or to walk along the beach, perhaps to wet your feet, perhaps to go into the water, to immerse yourself, to swim, or simply walking. Take a minute or two to be in this image. Let it be beautifully relaxing. And then just gradually, from the scene, I want you to move back into this moment. Moving your hands, moving your feet. Rolling to one side. You might still have your blanket or your towel around you. I do. Yeah, I love it. You might still have the hood on you. And we're going to, you could turn on your volume if you like, your audio.